Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel, and in this DMZ duo with my guildmate Dallas, we start part 1 of the Crown Salvager mission. Alright guys, so I'm going to narrate through this particular one here, because I didn't activate the streaming mode for Discord, so I don't want you guys to constantly hear the beeping sound when I activate the push to talk. But we started off here right next to the lighthouse, which is quite nice. And we're just going to push our way towards the boats. I'm going to the map here and marking the locations. I don't know if you guys have done this one yet. It's really just a matter of just doing it. There isn't anything particularly special about it. Knowing the location and where to go is kind of critical and important. So we grab the boat and just start heading that way. You guys will have to let me know. Do you ever notice, like, after an update, how the bots seem a little bit more difficult or the spawns seem a little bit more rough? As in, you seem to be a lot closer to other players than usual. And that's what we were experiencing in the last few days. It just seemed like after the update or whatever they did on Thursday or Friday, just seemed like everywhere we went, we were just running into player after player after player. This particular gameplay was from last week when it wasn't nearly as bad. But you just swim down and pretty much just pick up the package, come back, and it's right here next to this peninsula. The next one is in the boat that's partially submerged, and you're just going to run it really kind of towards the middle. You got to finagle your way into this section here. It's kind of the middle of the ship, but to pick up the package, you kind of have to finesse it into that, where it's nestled there along the boat. And then once you finish that and pick that one up, then you got to come over here to Sawa. And as you guys know, it gets kind of rough over here. You're always going to run into bots. So, it's just part of the nature of going to Sawa is the bots, but they didn't seem to be as bad lately, as in when I recorded this and as of this week's recording. They didn't seem to be as bad, but of course, if you're pushing this in kind of by yourself like I'm doing here, you got to be super careful. But I got in a bit of a rush and then ended up getting downed, and I mean completely downed, and as you can see here, Dallas has to come in for the rescue. I know you guys might get a little confused by the fact of why I call him Dallas versus Tracker. But anyway, it just goes by either name, so we just call him Dallas. But nonetheless, here he is using one of the 7.62s that's configured for another mission where you have to kill... you got to use 3 different scopes for the mission. So we just went in with 3 different scopes in one of the missions, each of us. And then when Dallas and I did this originally with the 7.62, I went in with one, he went in with that one, and then we just changed it at a buy station. So here I am getting revived by Dallas after being down there trying to get this mission. And this one is also kind of in the middle of the boat. You're going to want to jump up on this little ledge here area. It's harder to get up on the other ledges. You just apparently can't get up there. So I'll grab it, and pretty much we're done. And I just wanted to really kind of focus on getting the mission done, not really hang around and do a lot of looting or go to the server room. It's called various different things to go look to see if there's a skull or even a GPU. And then, of course, one of my favorite missions of all, the rescue. We just pick it up and grab it and then kind of head that way to the mission. And most of the fighting is done outside. And I end up having to, well, we go in to get the hostage, and we had already pretty much cleared everything outside. And you may notice that when you're doing these in Sawa, particularly when you're doing hostage rescues, they're oftentimes, most of the bots are outside. Really strange how this one didn't have any inside, and I've also noticed sometimes when I've done these rescues, you guys will have to let me down in the comments if you've experienced it too, sometimes you start these and there's never a timer, so you have like all the time in the world to go in and get the hostage. I love when there's that little bit of a game glitch or a game bug, whatever it is, that just causes it not to have a timer, so you have like all the time in the world to get it. Then of course, making our exfil here in Sawa, we didn't see any other players at the time. I didn't have a comm vest. I think Dallas was running his comm vest. I was running the med vest. And now we head over to Ashika. And here I'm going to complete the rest of the mission solo, which isn't all that bad. But of course, anytime you're on Ashika, you can always anticipate that there's going to be players around. And this one I have my comm vest because I want to be able to hear if players are around and or near. And many times when you're on a jet ski, on a boat, in a helicopter, I'm not sure why I call it a helicopter because I want to say heli and then I say copter. But when you're in any kind of a vehicle, you're probably going to hear your vest indicate that there's operators in the area. And that's kind of what happened just back there when I was on the jet ski. So as you can see, I kind of creepy crawl along and just kind of swim under the water. The first package is going to be in the middle of the boat, submerged here, next to all of these containers, or connexes, as the military likes to call them. Then I head over to the second boat, and I'm still hearing my vest tell me that there's operators in the area. And I'm just hoping that none of them are doing this particular mission, because obviously I'd run into maybe a full squad or two, or maybe even another solo, and I just didn't want any engagement if I didn't have to. The other one is up here towards the front, pretty easy. Just grabbed it up, did a little bit of looting there since I was already there. And then, of course, fortunately for me, the exfil is right here. Now, Earl Shatter, if you guys watch him, he's really great. He does a lot of this solo, which is absolutely stunning and amazing to me. But he was saying when he did it, he waited till the last exfil, and I was just like, well, it's early in the game. Let me just go ahead and just get out of here on my own. Just go ahead and go to the exfil while everyone else, I guess, is pushed in. Maybe they're doing the castle. I don't know what other players were doing. But I only heard the vest indicate that there were other players or operators when I was on the jet ski heading toward the first boat. Around here, I was just getting the regular, normal, the bots were in the area, and if they were pushing in and they were flying in via helicopter and so forth. So I just fight a few of them here, just waiting for the helicopter to exfil. Plating up as usual. You can never have enough plates, which is always good to have, regardless of where you go in this game. You want at least 9, usually is what I usually try to carry. If I'm doing, like, particularly solo, I want at least 9. And so here we just go straight to the exfil and get right on out. And it was really, very fortunate that I had the vest on to let me know when there was other players around. Of course, I would have taken it much slower and much easier. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down there, what the bots are like, what the gameplay is like after these particular updates. Are you finding that when we spawn in now, because of the Koshi, the new zone that we have there, are you finding that they seem to be putting us near all of these? When we were spawning in the previous night, as of this recording, we were constantly spawning in Tarak, or on the northern part of the map, constantly throughout the evening. It was really kind of irritating. It was really kind of a very difficult evening. But here, this is the following day after that, and I found that the gameplay during the day was really quite nice. It wasn't all that difficult to do this even solo. But nonetheless, guys, I want to thank you for all the support you've given me here on this DMZ coverage. And so, of course, appearing there on the screen will be the channel icon. You can click on to subscribe to the channel as well as notifications. And I will see you guys in the next DMZ video.